As you can see, everything is pretty much the way it was. In fact, it's exactly the way it was a week ago today when I finished up the Diablo series. Now, as soon as I was finished that series, I had to jump on a plane that night to go and visit my brother and his family. And that's what we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be dealing with a stick that I found at a park at my brother's place. Anyway, for this set here, one of these pairs is for me and the other pair is for the golf tournament. I'm hoping it's going to fit okay in this box. I haven't actually tested it yet. You know, as I've said before, you see my screw-ups along with me, so, well, that'll go in there. That's all right. And this seems to fit okay in here. Okay, there we go. A set for the golf tournament, and a set for me. Okay, now this is going to be another story, but this is what we're going to talk about. Not much to look at, but there's a story behind it, and I want to share the story with you. Now, in order that you know exactly where this piece of wood came from, I'm going to take you to Gage Park, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit before I actually zoom out so that you can see it in relation to where you live. And I'm going to zoom down at this little clump of trees here, right just north of the parking lot. We parked in that parking lot, and you can't see it, but underneath the edge of this tree line, there were a couple of benches, and we were sitting on one of those benches. I think it was right about here. And we were enjoying the view and watching the people walking up and down this road here. And anyway, I said to my brother, you know, it'd be kind of nice to have a souvenir of this park. I could turn a pen. And we were looking around, and he took a little bit of a walk over in this direction, and right about here is where he picked up that stick. Probably within 50 feet of where that mouse cursor is. Anyway, yeah, so now that you know where it came from, let's zoom out and you'll see where Gage Park is. It's in a medium-sized city in Canada. Okay, the medium-sized city is Hamilton, Ontario. And if you zoom out far enough, you'll get to see where it is in relation to wherever you happen to live, unless you're on the other side of the world. And I know that some of you are, and thank you for watching, by the way. Now, this pen, or this wood rather, is a long way from where I got the other piece of wood that I called the pen from the point. So this one is sort of the pen from the park. Anyway, the other piece of wood came from way over here, almost on the other side of Canada. And I'm going to draw a line from the one to the other, and we'll just see what the distance is. Anyway, let's do that. Okay, I've changed to Google Earth rather than Google Maps. I've never been able to figure out how to measure something on Google Maps, but unless you want to find distance by road, it's great for that. But to draw a straight line, I just can't do it. But on Google Earth, I can. Click on the ruler here. Now, I should be able to mark where we were sitting. And there's the parking lot. There's the trees. So I should be able to make a mark right there. Now, I think, yeah, there we go. And draw a line. Now, let's zoom out. Keep zooming out here to where we can see most of Canada. Then I'll know where I am. Okay, now let's go across, up a little, west some more, up a little. Now we'll get zoomed in on British Columbia. There's Kelowna. Now let's zoom in on Kelowna, and we'll find the spot at the point where I picked up the piece of wood that I turned the pen from the point. Okay, there's the bridge. We're getting there. Let's move up a little bit. Yeah, I can sort of see it. Moving in, moving in, moving in. And there's the bench. And that little piece of wood came right from beside that garbage can. This thing right here is a garbage can. And so we click it here. Now it should give us all the information we need here. And there it is. It is 1,920 and 74 hundredths of a mile. Now for people that think in kilometers, should be able to change that. Kilometers. Okay, it's 3,091 kilometers. So that's the distance from the one pen to the other. I find it interesting. Maybe I'm boring you to tears. Now the plan is to turn a pen-pencil set in slimline out of this. So that means I've got to find 4 sections, and I think I can make it. Unless I have a problem where there's a real bad void inside one of these sections. But I think it should be okay. I think I can go like from here to here, and that would be 1, then 2, 3, 4. Well, we'll see. They only have to be a little longer than the brass tube. So I think I can, envision 4 brass tubes. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. I don't know. We'll see how it goes here. There is a couple of things that you probably have noticed about my videos. First of all, they don't always end up as planned. And this could well be one of those series. Just because I'm thinking of doing a pen-pencil set in slimline doesn't mean that's the way it's going to end up. I may find that after I cut off the bad ends, like here and on the other end, well, I might have not enough, in other words. Another thing I want to point out is that the pencil is shorter than the pen. In other words, the blank, of course. The brass tube is shorter. So what I think I'm going to do is, to play it safe, I'm going to make sure that I have at least 4 pieces that'll fit the long tube. At least that's the plan. I'll know once I start cutting here. It's quite possible that I'm not going to be able to get 4 blanks, and I might have to change kits and turn a kit that is, narrow and just has 1 blank. Anyway, let's see what happens after I get these ends trimmed off. As you can see, those two pieces on the left have a pretty bad bend in them, so I'm going to have to be careful when I'm drilling the hole for the brass tubes that I take that into account. Both of these kits take a 7mm drill bit for the brass tubes, so that's going to make it a little easier. No having to switch bits for different sized holes. I want to move in a little closer here so that we can see why this is a matching pen and pencil set. The center bands right now look a little bit different, well, at least lengthwise, but once everything is put together, or pressed together, they're going to look the same because the embossing is exactly the same. Now I realize that the nibs also look a little bit different right now, but that's because one is designed to be pressed into the end of the brass tube, whereas the other is going to be screwed onto the mechanical pencil mechanism. And once this is done, what you see will be exactly the same. As near as I can tell, the clips are identical. Now, the only thing could be is the holes are a different size. I should really measure them to make sure. I wouldn't want to get them mixed up and have a problem later. Well, tomorrow we drill. Or maybe I should say, we try to drill.